Hi, I'm Aiman, and welcome back to one of my tool and how-to videos. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to replace the blade on this Dewalt Atomic 4.5-inch circular saw. So, you've probably seen me use this saw in my previous videos. We've actually used it to work on converting our patio to a sunroom, and it's worked pretty well. So, replacing the blade on this is going to be pretty simple. All you're going to need is a Allen key. I believe it's a 3/16 inch Allen key. In our case, we only have metric, so I'm going to use a 5mm. It actually is supposed to come with an Allen key on the bottom, but we lost that. So there are many reasons why you want to replace the blade. In our case, we're replacing it with a masonry blade so that we can cut some concrete or cinder blocks. So if you're interested in that, go check that video out. I'm going to use it in that video. So the first thing you want to do is take out the battery. And something you can do to make it easier is to pull this out. It's not really going to make much of a difference, but it's up to you. Then you want to take your Allen key and locate this bolt here. So this bolt here, you can see it says tighten to the counterclockwise direction and loosen to the clockwise direction, which is opposite of how it usually is. It's usually lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. In our case, I think this means that it's reverse threaded, so that means in order to loosen it, you'd have to turn it the opposite way that usually would. And I believe that has something to do with the way that it spins, though correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, once we have it here, I'm going to lock it just in this position. We're going to prevent the blade from spinning while we do this, because if you see me try to loosen it right now, it's just going to spin freely. So in order to prevent it from spinning freely, there's a button right here that we've got to press down and hold. And it's not going to instantly lock. You're going to have to rotate it as you hold it down. Okay, so you see now it's not moving, but it might not do that initially. You have to rotate it until it finally depresses. So now that it's fully depressed, this is fully locked, and now we can loosen it. So with one turn, I can finally hand loosen it. And take the bolt out. Here you can see how it's reverse threaded. Usually your threads would go the opposite way. Okay, so next you can pull out this bearing. Or it's not really a bearing, it's like a cap. Set that aside and take out the saw blade. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get the new masonry blade out of the packaging. We got it on Amazon, about $6. If you're interested, I'll put a link to it in the description down below. And if you're interested in the handsaw itself, we'll also put a link to that in the description or the comments down below. Okay, so it can be important to get the proprietary blades because it depends on the diameter of that hole there. We tried putting angle grinder blades and they didn't have the right size diameter hole. So this is going to be used for cutting brick and concrete. Let me get scissors to make this easier. Never mind. There we go. So you can see in comparison, there's a bit of a sticky thing on it. Well, I said before to use proprietary blades so that you know it fits, but in our case, we used Dewalt blades, but they don't go to this tool. They don't go to the circular saw. As you can see, they actually are meant for the angle grinder. That's okay. We actually have an angle grinder that we're going to do a video on how to replace the blades on the angle grinder, so go check that out if you're interested. But it's a teachable moment. Just make sure to do your due diligence and make sure that the blade that you get actually fits on your tool. Nonetheless, we can still replace the old blade. We're gonna get right to it. First, you want to make sure that you have this bearing in here. That's to raise it up and make sure that it can actually be centered. And next, you want to notice the way that the blade spins. In our case, this arrow indicates that it's spinning this way. If you take a look at the blade itself, you want to make sure that the cutting teeth are also facing in the same way. So as they spin, they shave off material. So we're just going to put it back in. Open this up. Make sure that the bearing's still on there. Slide it on. And then take your cap and put it on. In retrospect, this makes sense. You know, this is maybe a 5/16 diameter. Well, this is more like 7/8 inch diameter, which is why they wouldn't be compatible. But I'm guessing that this one is going to fit on the angle grinder. Okay. Next, you want to take your bolt. And again, remember this is reverse threaded, so you want to actually tighten the opposite way. Do a hand tighten the entire time, and then once it gets super tight, then you want to tighten it. And again, remember it's going to spin as you tighten it. So you're going to want to lock it using the button on the back. And I was going to say do an 1/8 of a turn, but I can only do a 16th of a turn before it's snug. Maybe. Okay. Double check, make sure that everything's good. And then lastly, put your battery in. Run it for a bit, and then also test it on some scrap material to make sure that it doesn't dislodge itself. Okay. So that's how to replace the blade on the Dewalt Atomic 4.5 inch circular saw. I hope this helped you. And also make sure to check out our next video on how to replace the blade on an angle grinder, which, yeah, I think these match up pretty well. And also check out my next video on using that blade to actually cut cinder blocks or brick. Okay, I'm Aiman, and thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and look at other videos on EyeOnAiman, especially the videos on the tools. And also check out our videos on our rebuilding our fence projects. And I'll see you there. But for now, I'm Aiman, and signing out.